Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone that's here. Thank you very much for being here. As usual, my hellos to this time is going to be for New Zealand. Can't be always Australia. Close enough. They're probably asleep as well, I'm assuming. Welcome to our usual weekly AMA. I'm not really going to say if this is the last one before the second season anymore, because I've said this already 2 times. So we're going to stop now. My side, unfortunately, there's not much I can update you guys apart from what me or Matt have been updating you guys in terms of messages. I can say that we had the 20,000 battles last Sunday, and we decided to launch the competition today because if we can't laugh at ourselves, I don't know, then something went wrong. So if you haven't noticed yet, there is a version for Discord, there's a version for Telegram, and there's a version for Twitter. And basically the goal is for you guys to finish a sentence that says season 2 was, depending on where you wouldn't finish your that sentence, delayed because, and then you can fill up the form with your finished sentence. As mentioned, one per person, one per platform. So which means you can do one for Telegram, one for Discord, one for Twitter. At the end of the week, we'll choose the 4 best ones out of each platform and let the members in each platform vote for what they think are the best ones. And the 2 best ones will win 1,000 MK each, which means a total of 2,000 MK for each platform. Okay, that's it from my side. There's like I said, on my end, there wasn't much new information to give you guys. So I'll pass on the mic to the person you actually are here to listen, which is Matt.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I mean, I'll get right into the update that everybody wants to know, which is what season 2. And I know that Hermes has been providing updates on the regular, and even just as of in the last 5 hours, we've again requested updates from the development team on the status of things. So coming into this AMA. So to give you guys a little bit of context as to why it still hasn't launched yet, when we were attempting to launch, as you guys all heard on the previous AMA, there was some build issues that required us to go back and look at replacing some stuff that a previous developer or a developer that's still on the team but had built, and it didn't necessarily line up according to the architecture of what the production version of season 2 was going to look like. So long story short, they basically had to scrap it and start over, and in doing so identified an issue that would basically render like the user experience, like the front end, the UI, not as I mean, let me choose my words here. It wasn't going to be as nice as I think everyone deserved, and it wasn't going to be what I had hoped for, what I had envisioned. Now, the interesting part about that is that presented an exciting opportunity to actually use some feedback that we had gotten from the community, from you guys, as a solution to that. Now, the solution that we are implementing and is now in the final stages of being complete is actually something that we had intended and eyed to be a part of season 2 all along, but wasn't going to be at launch. And so now that's changed. So season 2 will launch with this functionality, which I think that everyone will find really interesting and immersive, and will just kind of complement that the wow factor that will hopefully be received by everybody when season 2 drops. Hermes, you can vouch for me on this. Like from what
I can. I'm just gonna do something because I know. Oh, there's. I was wondering what it was. I'm just gonna pull Zeus into the stage now. But just to do an add-on here before you guys start going crazy, it's not the NFTs. Okay, I know that in some minds I can feel it from across the intertubes. Some of you are going, "Oh, it's the NFTs." No. The NFTs will still be later. It's something that you have literally mentioned on previous AMA. I know. It's something that you guys have mentioned in previous AMAs and the feedback here. And like Matt mentioned, since we had this opportunity because of the architecture of the game, we decided, okay, might as well include it. We're late anyway. It's not this that's going to delay us anymore. Quite the contrary. I can't say. There might have been guesses in the chat already. But yeah, unfortunately, like mentioned, we aren't gonna launch today. At least that's the information that we got. But we're still trying to launch it as soon as possible. I know it's a pain. We're all waiting for it as well.
Yeah, so in terms of the actual gameplay experience, that's been done, that's been tested. It's actually been done and ready for what feels like a while now. It hasn't obviously launched to production, but it's been thoroughly vetted and tested, and it works, and it's a significant improvement over season one. It's really, at this point, as trivial as it sounds, comes down to the way that the platform looks, which I think we are almost collectively on the same page that we don't want to ship something that looks subpar or looks inferior, especially after the amount of time, effort, and energy that was put into fixing that specific thing coming into season two. But the good news is that it is practically there, and the solution has been identified, and the fix is being implemented, and it will be an even more enhanced user experience, I think, over what we had originally ideated for the initial version of season two. So I guess we slide into letting the questions commence, or should we just get straight into Time Bandit's time?
I think we're going straight into Time Bandit because he has already raised his hand. So it's going to be Texan time as usual. I'm gonna start. I have to figure out a name for this moment of the AMA. Time Bandit, suggestions. What should we call your moment in the AMA?
How you doing?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm still kicking.
You
haven't got me yet.
Haven't got it.
Oh man, y'all are killing me.
Yeah, I'm killing me. I freaking hate delays. The people that know me well, personally, know that punctuality is kind of like a big thing for me. So every time that we hit one of these delays, which seems to be pretty consistently, it's like, yeah, it just makes me want to.
It's killing you then if you're a stickler for punctuality.
Yeah, this is it's but you have to take the good with the bad. I'm definitely happy with the way season two looks, and I know that once it's you'd mentioned this last week, Time Bandit, like once it's launched, all's forgiven kind of thing, and people will forgive but not forget in terms of like the delays, but I think that when people do finally get to play season two, they'll be happy with the improvements over season one for sure, and and then we can focus our energy on the next milestone down the road.
I had a question about, is there going to be like a retro where you can play the season one platform also? Does that make sense?
No, that does make sense, and I think that I kind of had briefly touched on that before, of running just kind of like a parallel instance of season one, allowing people to have options. Initially, when we launch season two, it will replace season one, but it's definitely something that we're planning, especially as we move towards like season 2.5 and beyond, that eventually Meme Kombat will have like a lobby of sorts, where you can kind of choose whether or not you want to play in the current season or if you want to go to a retro season. Now, with that being said, the wagering mechanics in like any retro season might look and feel different just because of the way that the platform is structured. So kind of keep that in mind, that if you're looking to actually participate in Meme Kombat and wager, and actually like stand to gain actual tokens, you would have to participate in the current season at play, because the previous retro seasons wouldn't have LPs, or it would basically be like a, like fake MK, or you. So we haven't quite worked out what that could look like. That could always change, but we do want to have the ability to play retro seasons, some classic MK kind of stuff, especially as we move through the seasons down the road.
Yeah, and it might also be a good way to get on to other nets, of Ethereum, using the simpler. I was thinking season 1 platform. Wouldn't it be simpler to try to, I don't know, like a Polygon network or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it would take to kind of shift the whole platform to a separate chain, or to make it multi-chain, which is also something that we've been looking at, exploring, and looking at the best time to incorporate that. It does take a significant amount of development to achieve that. Now, with that being said, it's something that we're looking at. I don't want to put any sort of time frames towards that, but yeah, I can't see a future, that doesn't include Meme Kombat being, at the very least, multi-chain.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, hey, other than that, I'm just waiting. I'm gonna win a NFT this AMA, correct? Come on, Hermes! Come on, Hermes! Jump out of a cake, man!
He's currently baking right now.
I guess so. Oh, but
I'm actually setting up the giveaway wheel of names, actually. While you guys are talking.
But no, I'm totally behind you. I think it's going to be great, and like you said before, it seems like with this project, everything just kind of filters down into its place where it needs to be, and works out great.
Well, I think that we're coming down the home stretch. I hate to say things like this, because I know that, well, number one, it gives Hermes an ulcer, but then number two, like, it usually always blows up in my face. But it feels as though things are very, very close. And then obviously, as you guys all know, the market has had a resurgence. People are coming back into the Web3 market. There's a lot of volume now, even on the Ethereum chain. There's a lot of volume running through the market. So I think everything is primed, poised, and ready for a successful season 2 launch. Now we just need to get the devs to finish up what they're doing and get things deployed, and then simultaneously marketing to support season 2 launch happens, and then we're off, and then and then we turn our sights towards the next milestones, which hopefully in between season 2 and what comes next, there might be a little a time for a break or a respite for myself and some of the other non-development team. But we'll see.
It'll work. It will work. We all have faith in you, and I'm gone. I mean, I don't have any questions, because we're just all waiting, for the same thing. So, yeah. Y'all keep it up, and I'll see you next week. And Zeus, when are we going to go to Vegas?
Time Bandit, I'm ready when you are, good sir. I'll meet you there, and hopefully you can bring that truck. I'd love to see it. I'd love to cruise the strip in it, and definitely would be a blast. And can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and yeah, luckily the voice is doing.
We might want to wait a little bit, because I think last week in Las Vegas it was 122 degrees.
Oh yeah. I was there just a couple weeks ago, and 105 to 110 every day, and and you're in Texas, so you know what it's like. But yeah, 122. I mean, that's about as hot as it gets on planet Earth, right? Absolutely wild. But yeah, so, and then just piggybacking, I've known Matt for a very long time, and I can vouch on the deepest levels of my character, my core, that Matt is a very punctual, individual in every aspect of his life. And I do know that delays do shake him to the core. So yeah, the team has evolved and emerged and growing, and it will continue to do that. So everyone's learning this and that, even on a development side. A new developer at some point obviously stepped in and working alongside of the the developer that had built the framework, and so just learning each other's different ways and the structure in which it was built upon versus how different team members do their development, right? Adapting. But yeah, the evolution of season 1 to season 2 is going to be something that we can showcase to the world. A lot of people have been stepping up. Amazing job to everyone that's been rating, and Hermes leading the force with all that. And yeah, so once we have this season 2 deliverables with all the different aspects of all the evolution that happened from season 1 to season 2, why can't we let's start reaching out to communities and inviting them in to AMAs, building excitement, collaborations, but all centered around the arena, right? And what the arena does for bringing fun to this space, and showcasing that we're a strong community, showcasing that we're here to stay, right? So the longer a crypto project rides waves in this space, the more trust people from the outside looking in have that this is a long-term gem, a long-term play, and they're going to keep evolving, But yeah, appreciate your time, Bandit, and yeah, ready to meet you in Vegas whenever you are, good sir.
Heck yeah. And Matt, I do have one question about, it's kind of a technical question. Does this project use chainlink in any way?
So we used Chainlink's VRF for season 1 to do battle resolutions. So Chainlink or Link itself was part of the equation. So for the battle resolutions, though, for those that wanted to dig in deeper on that, we elected to use Link on Arbitrum versus ETH mainnet, just obviously simply just to lower network fees for resolving bets. But that piece of the mechanics is going away for season 2, and we've come up with a different way to do battle resolutions for season 2. That and so this was also as a result. I mean, some of you guys who pay really close attention to the updates that Hermes give, a lot of the downtime reasons were because of that reliance on Chainlink and Link and their VRF, which is an excellent tool for doing on-chain randomizations. But some of the downtimes that we experienced in season 1 was a direct result of utilizing that method, and so we phased that out in lieu of something that we think will have far more performant outcomes for the platform.
Is it in-house?
What do you mean by that?
What's replacing Chainlink or Link?
Yeah, it's an in-house made solution. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
It was a lot of downtime because of it, and that's why I was asking.
Yeah. It's I mean, from a concept perspective, using the on-chain randomization feature made a lot of sense, and I think that it spoke to a lot of like the kind of like the degen fundamentals that a lot of people relate to. But in the practical sense, having to resolve each and every MK battle, doing an on-chain transaction, there's depending on spikes on Arbitrum train or the Ethereum, the EVM networks in general. Just it creates a weak point that unless there's somebody there to either like manually force through a transaction or to be constantly observing 24/7. There was no sort of like automated or automatic fail-safe switch that we could build in realistically into season 1. So that's the reason why we saw the resulting downtime. But we've eliminated that as an issue for season 2. Not to say that season 2 may like have zero issues. We'll only really realize that once we get it out to everybody and we start stress testing it. But we feel extremely confident that season 2 will see a significant increase in uptime compared to season 1.
Sounds good to me. All right, guys. Well, I've got to go get back to work. Y'all have a good one, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Time Bandit.
Talk to you next
Anytime,
week.
Bandit,
Time
you're the
Bandit.
best.
Okay. You guys have been hearing me all over the place. At the moment, we don't have anyone wanting to come on stage, which means we go to the usual written questions. Let's see what we have this week. This week we do have some stuff. Okay. I'll start with the beginning. So, my question is related to marketing. If the intention was to launch on the 4th of July, the introduction of marketing was supposed to happen a little earlier. Marketing never happened, although launch didn't happen. But the point is, the statement did not align with dates. So, why is it that we can't do marketing a few days prior? As you can see, some of the discussion pertains to marketing to improve launch prospects. This is really frustrating from an investor's perspective. So the question is, why hasn't any marketing started, even though there was supposed to be some before the official launch?
Yeah, I mean, so we've covered this, I think, almost virtually in every AMA for the last 6 weeks or so. But this is obviously worded just slightly differently. But we've maintained all along, and I still firmly believe that it's the appropriate course to align marketing with the introduction of season 2, especially since our aim and our goal of this campaign, as well as the way that everything is written and dictated, is to attract new users and new eyes to the project. And so with that, we want to make sure that we actually have something for them to arrive at the project and be able to look at and to test. And we've maintained all along that we wanted to align that with season 2. What I had said last week is obviously still the case, is that we had intended to do marketing to release just prior to season 2 dropping, which is to get people's eyes and interest on the project. But going too soon, people have a very fleeting memory. It's almost like a goldfish out there in Web3. So the issue with season 2's launch marketing is that there was obviously some wavering confidence on the development team side that they were going to launch on time on 4th of July. As we all know now, that didn't happen. I've been pretty adamant about wanting to make sure that we're not initiating or kickstarting this campaign until we are 110% confident that season 2 is going to drop. And so nothing's really changed in terms of what our strategic approach is to season 2 marketing and the next round of our marketing campaign. I understand from, like what was mentioned in that question from, an investor's perspective. Yes, we could launch marketing campaign for season 2 today. And, would that bring probably a temporary or a momentary spike in the MK token price? Quite possibly. Maybe not. Maybe. Who knows? But I think that, it makes the most sense to maximize the return on investment for marketing, which is usually pretty considerable, especially in the Web3 space. Maximize that with being able to pair it with actual deliverables with the launch of season 2. And so for those of you that are wanting to see marketing, just, it's going to be paired with the launch of season 2.
Okay, now there's someone who has a couple of questions, so I'm going to do them one at a time. How far along are we in adding the team to the white paper? Matt.
Yeah, I mean, so Hermes and I had discussed.
I was going to say, if there's one you can blame Matt for, this is the one. That's the only one you can, and I'll let you guys blame Matt.
So, I mean, we've had other people join the team. And obviously, in terms of people who are doxxed, that's just myself, but nobody else has been. I had put the option out there to some other team members that have been here since the beginning. And I wasn't getting a whole lot of responses back, mostly just because of the personal strife that I weathered. With the early days of MK for many, many months, has left, other members of the team kind of shy about wanting to step forward like that.
I
Also,
wonder why.
Yeah, right. And also,
Matt tells a horror story and then tell us, "Do you want to have the same?" And we go, "No."
Yeah, exactly. Now, with that being said, some other people's positions have kind of changed somewhat or evolved, grown with the project. And so with just like the positions or the different team members, I've kind of kicked it back to everyone else about writing essentially just their own like one little paragraph summary about what their role is on the team. And we haven't received all those back from everybody quite yet, mostly just because people have been really scrambling to push season 2 out as much as possible. So I could publish it live with just like my updates. But yeah, it's and then also there's been some kind of like back and forth on whether or not people need pictures because if there's not going to be anyone else docs but myself, then maybe we would just use avatars instead. So anyway, it's been kind of pushed back to almost kind of like a committee of sorts. So with that being said, Hermes, I mean, I don't know what we want to do in terms of making a commitment to the community. We could do it little bits at a time, and just keep pushing small little updates to the white paper with the team on there, or wait until we have everything back.
I'm going to ask this question. You guys can answer via the chat since you enjoy writing stuff and distracting me. Would you guys be okay if for now we do placeholders? So basically like founder, Matt, you already know, community manager, Hermes, the mods, blah, blah, and then the developers. So just the names. And then as we get this information, we fill it up. Or would you prefer to wait until we actually have everything and set it up in one go? Write it in the chat. I'll keep an eye on it. And then at the end of the AMA, I'll have a look at it and talk with Matt. Okay. So someone's asking, why are there no developers chatting on Telegram and Discord? Except for Matt, Zeus, and Hermes. Did you just call me a developer? You're not supposed to come in. I'm not a developer, by the way. Neither is Matt or Zeus. We don't want the developers getting more distracted. Trust me. At this point, we just want them to focus completely on what they're doing.
What I can say in regards to that is that I think the entirety of the dev team actually is embedded within the community, because they do they read comments and then they approach me with them about like, hey, somebody said this is actually kind of a good idea. The developers, every single last one of them, are in the community, and they do watch, much like myself. I'm in there and I do read the chats and stuff, even if I'm not necessarily chatting. They are in there. They don't identify themselves as an MK developer at my direction, because of the focus and attention that gets put at them, both benign and then also very like targeted from bad actors in the space. And so we've made a conscious effort to really keep our development team as shielded as possible from being brought out into the larger overall public view. It's mostly just to avoid the integrity of our platform being compromised in any way. But they are among you.
Yeah. To add to this, we actually have one developer that's on the tickets. So if there's actually ever a ticket, some of you might have had this case. It's not very common, but it has happened from time to time, once per month, I'd say. That actually is in the ticket. So when there's actually a ticket that's more complicated in terms of something went wrong and it's not the usual solutions can fix it, and we actually require the developer / technician to actually get back to you and inquire you some things, they normally chat via the tickets in those cases. Most of you don't see them because, like Matt just mentioned, they are in the chats, but they do try to be discreet. We do have lots of developers, especially on Telegram. Normally those tend to get banned because that it's that kind of developer. But yeah, no, the devs are reading our messages. my best case I can give you was actually a few minutes ago. Someone was asking in the question channel about the odds and how they changed, and they gave me a reply. I poked at them and they gave me a reply. I replied. The person said, "Oh, but that's actually not what I meant," and they explained a bit better their question. And a few minutes later, I was going to poke that dev, and he already had the answer ready for me. So he was actually reading your question there. Okay, so next question, which is maybe a stupid question, but there is no stupid questions. Because we talk a lot about the CEX, the centralized exchanges, and I'm never going to say that word, and we don't want to have too many because it wouldn't be good for the game. Isn't it also the intention that the price of 1 MK may become too high in connection with the game? So the question, I'm guessing, at least that's my interpretation, is will the price of MK get too high to be played? I think you already answered this one before, but
I mean, of all the problems to have, right? I
Yeah,
don't think
exactly.
that is necessarily an issue because tokenization is fractional. So it's not to say that you are required in any way to have like a minimum bet of like, at least 1 MK or whatever that would look like, or 5 MK. If the price of MK skyrocketed, in some future state, there's the ability to do fractionalized betting. And so I think that that's not really an issue.
All right. So talking about the centralized exchange, there's a couple of questions around here. I'm going to try and resume them all in one, not to ask the same thing over and over again. Okay. So the main question, and this has been asked a couple of times the past week as well, is we've mentioned before that we need a certain volume and we're aiming for certain centralized exchanges. And so the question that is here is, without actually mentioning names, because we are aware that you guys can't mention names, is there like a list of centralized exchanges you're aiming for? Because we mentioned, I think on the previous several ones, you mentioned the tier 1 centralized exchanges, or is this the first one that we get from tier 1 is the one that we go for?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more nuanced than that, Hermes, and I think that you know this as well. Obviously, there is a finite amount of tier 1 exchanges. I think that we have our preferences internally. With that being said, if we get an agreement or an offer from a tier 1 exchange that aligns with what we think that the project deserves, and would benefit the community at large, we would look to seize upon that opportunity. But yeah, we are being obviously selective, and then also not wanting to have some imbalance in in terms of like, there's a plenty of exchanges out there that be like, yeah, like, give us $1 billion and all your tokens and we'll list you on your exchange. And it's just not really favorable to the project. But I think that as season 2 launches, volume picks up and we increase like our status among the Web3 space, that the power dynamic in that conversation, specifically with exchanges and the representatives that help to onboard projects, it takes on a different tone. Right now, we would be in a position that wouldn't be favorable to the project, but once season 2 launches and marketing picks up, and hopefully with that volume for MK token picks up, then we become a far more attractive selection for onboarding onto an exchange. But and I've said this 1,000 times, and I still maintain this position that ultimately a centralized exchange doesn't really benefit our platform or the ecosystem that we're building, because it removes tokens from the ability to be exchanged or engaged on our platform. It's not how it was designed. But I understand that there is an element in the Web3 space that sees centralized exchange listing as some sort of like check mark on a checklist of bullish things. And I'm not going to undermine that whatsoever. So still going to maintain that we are open to an exchange listing as long as the team, not just myself, but the team at large, feels as though that it is a proper and advantageous move for the project, and that it's going to benefit the project as a whole, and also in terms of supporting all our long-term tokenomics, strategic plan. And I'll leave it at that.
I especially like the fact that someone, when you mentioned the example of give it $1 billion in all your tokens, someone said, I think it's the name who can't be said. And I love that comment. Okay, next question from this lot, and is the last one from this person, is part of this question is not going to be answered. I know that because you can't answer it. What is the budget in terms of money that will be used for marketing for season 2, and how long do you plan to maintain the marketing? Weeks, years, months? It's actually weird order, but okay.
Well,
it should be weeks,
months, years. This ties back to things that I've said previously, and then also what I've been very adamant about from the very beginning of this project is that we're not looking to be a flash in the pan project, and I think that that's been now supported by the fact that the team is largely still here from day one, and at this point, like a year in now, and we're still going, we're still moving forward, we're still working on things. We have a really long-term strategic plan on how we want to support MK, and so we're trying to make things stretch as far as possible to maintain that longevity. And because we're a technological platform, a majority of the expenditures that we have is on the people side of things, people resources, developers, as well as bringing in short-term intact teams to complete specific functions or specific tasks. Now, with that being said, marketing is a big part of this, but we don't necessarily say we're going to spend this chunk of money and we're going to do this and see how it works out. It's very much ROI focused. And so in some respects with some projects, a certain level or a certain type of marketing has a great impact. And that doesn't necessarily translate to all different projects. Like, for instance, like ours, which is gamified. We fall into a different niche than maybe just a standard run-of-the-mill meme token. So we are very much going to be taking one step and do a measurement and see how that worked. And then take another step and then take another measurement and see how that works. We're not going to be just mindlessly throwing money down a dark hole and seeing if it sheds light on something. So that's not really an answer to that question. The answer, I suppose, is if we find something that's working as an effective and there's an ROI there for the project team and the people that participate in MK, then we will continue that. If it doesn't show any effect and it doesn't have any value added, we'll stop it and go from there.
Yeah. So short version for we are gonna do it bit by bit. The budget is limited. I'll remind everyone that the MK team does not make extra money from the NFTs sales, from the token sales, anything like that. So we are limited in terms of budget. So we actually have to be careful with the way we spend it. We're not going to just waste it all in one go and then say, oh, well, money's off, bye. Okay. And the proof that the money is actually being well managed is, as Matt mentioned, we've been here for several months now. And I can tell you there has been many projects that some of you even mentioned at a time when the price of the token went slightly down and you went, oh, I'm going to invest in this one instead. And out of curiosity, I always kept track of those tokens. And I can tell you 100% of those tokens no longer exist. Or they exist in ghost towns because they were pretty much pump and dump. So whether by on purpose or by accident, and we are still here after all these months. That was my side note.
Mic drop, boom.
Okay, so there is a question that I'm gonna highlight here because you guys keep asking it on the chat, even though Matt already even answered on the chat, which is estimating days, weeks, how long until season 2 launches. And I'm actually gonna scroll this so it shows up on the video recording, and it is right here. The directive is as soon as possible. And you know why Matt is not giving you a date? Because I forbid him. I am not joking. The entire marketing team has told them no longer give dates because we've given way too many dates. And then things go wrong. And then everyone gets frustrated. So right now it is as soon as possible.
Yeah, and it's and I think it's also maybe that I'm just like cursed or something. Every time I have felt super confident about a date and started to allude towards it, then the universe just kind of up and steals it from me. So I'm hesitant on.
We joke there's two curses in MKs. Every time Matt says a date, it fails on that date. Every time I say, "Oh, it's all good this week," there was no bugs. 2 hours later, the entire system crashes. So that's why I no longer write "there's no bugs" on any of the devlogs anymore, because I've learned my lesson. Okay, there is a couple of questions here. I'm gonna try to. You guys need to make prettier questions. It's because you ask one thing and then you add stuff later, and then someone replies in the middle. This is chaos to try and interpret in the middle of an AMA. Okay, so the question is, what will happen in October when the staking pool reward is emptied, as it was been mentioned in previous AMAs? And someone says, does that mean that the money that the house wins with the bets will go back to the staking pool? Okay. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I mean, we did not utilize the entirety of the tokens that were earmarked for staking rewards when establishing that first the token rewards pool. So the plan is, so staking will still be around. There will still be a staking pool. It'll just basically we'll have to launch a brand new pool, so it'll come with a new contract address, and it will have some upgrades to it compared to previous ones. So we're not really at a point where we want to say absolutely like this will be included, but the V2 staking pool post October will have some upgrades that I think everybody will be pleasantly surprised, or at least happy to see that it's not just the same. But the interesting part with that is that, and I know that some other people that are probably already thinking it in the back of their mind, that with the launch of a new staking pool, will come basically the need for people to restake their tokens. So if they currently have MK staked, they'll need to unstake and then restake into the to the V2 staking pool, and we'll have clear direction and process for this detailed to the community before any of this happens. But when that does happen, as you guys all had previously noticed with the staking pool when it went live last time, that'll mean that for at least for a brief period of time until people fill in there, the APY will be pretty significant once again. So there'll be an opportunity there for people who are really on top of stuff.
So what that means is weeks before that even happens, me and Joe will be blasting that information all over the place. So it's not going to be from one day to the other. We're going to say, well, now you have to restake everything. Oh, you missed this message. Oh, too bad. We obviously avoid that.
There, and there also might be, something. I mean, I can, I guess, hint towards it. Having one of the Meme Kombat NFTs in the wallet in which you're staking your tokens might have some sort of advantageous effect on your APY.
Ooh.
Just gonna
talking of NFTs, because I am reading the chat, you little buggers. No, we're not getting the iconic NFTs. Those aren't been given today. But answering a bit more serious, you're asking about the rarity. The NFTs that are giving out of the wallet are literally random. So apart from obviously the iconic ones, those obviously aren't in the pool. But we're literally giving them out randomly. I'm not even looking at the rarity because Matt gave me access to the NFT wallet now. So I'm the one that sends them these days. So I'm literally just going in there. The first one that's on that list that they're ordered in the complete random order. As long as it's not one of the iconic ones, I'm sending it to the person. The 5 winners can attest to this. I have no idea what the rarities were. They seemed happy, so I'm guessing that maybe I gave them good rarities. I don't know. Because on my end, when I'm doing the giveaway, when I'm sending it on the wallet, I'm just seeing the ID number, so I have no idea what the rarity is in it. I would have to go into OpenSea to see that. Someone's saying, yeah, I know the limit, how long it will take. It's how many NFTs you have in the wallet. Well, that would be a bad case because I think there's still another 120 in there, so that would be 4 months. There you go, Matt. You have another 4 months before launching season 2.
No, I would.
I think we'll have a heart attack before that happens.
I would definitely be long dead by then if that was the case. Now, I mean, so the directive is as soon as possible. I think that the path that we're now on, people will be happy with the output for season 2, and I think that even more so, it'll be symbolic of how the team actually does look to the community, even if it's in a very subtle, quiet way. How the team looks to the community to help solve complex issues just simply by looking at suggestions and looking at feedback. And so I think that now, even though it wasn't intended that way, that the debut of season 2 is in part going to be an homage to the community and just how much pride and passion that they have for this game and for the platform.
Okay, someone here is asking, does that mean you're going to mint more NFTs? No, we're not going to mint any more NFTs. At least, as far as I'm aware, there's no plans for a second collection at the moment. It's the 4,000 exist. We've mentioned this a couple of times. We don't want to be the usual project that, I don't know what to do. I'll just do a new collection. No, that's what we want to. If we ever in the future decide to go for a second collection, there has to be a very strong reason behind it.
There would have to be a strong reason, and it would have to also not diminish what the current NFT collection is, which is the Genesis collection for Meme Kombat. Now, I mean, obviously, what the future holds for the platform and use cases, it could evolve and change, but I think I, as well as everybody else on the team, remain very supportive that there should be never an additional NFT collection that phases out or diminishes the value associated with this Genesis collection that we released, as a result of the pre-sale and the release of season 1. So.
I'm just going through the chat, see if there's any questions, because you guys were very chatty today. I was trying to keep track of all the questions. I think we actually covered all of them.
You're coming up
on someone that was posting
a
bunch of GIFs now, and they actually got timed out by the bot. So I apologize for that. I have no idea who it is, and I'm not going to be able to check it during the AMA. After the AMA, I'll have a look. Okay, you can still hear us. That part I know. You just can't write anything. Oh, there's a question here about the roadmap for the future, because right now the roadmap finishes on season 2, which still says Q2. By the way, we should correct that. If there's going to be an update for the roadmap as well.
Yeah, I mean, so we have internally discussed what the roadmap should reflect. Beyond season 2, we have part of the composition of this team that's bringing season 2 to the front lines is people who are very much full-time a part of the MK team, and then we also have some outside heavy hitters that come in every once in a while and help complete sprints and work packets for us. So really, it's once we get season 2 launched and we can take a deep breath and retreat back into a planning session as a larger overall team on not only what we know that we could accomplish, but what we want to accomplish, and then arrive at kind of like a firm milestone plan. That's when we'll be publishing the amended roadmap for the MK project. It's just we're not quite there yet, mostly just because we're still working through season 2 launch. We're currently looking to finish the check marks on the current roadmap, and so once we've done that, then we will as a team identify not only what it is that we know that we can promise that we'll deliver in terms of like a future roadmap, but then also with that comes a commitment of sorts of people who are currently on the team on whether or not they, having now completed all the objectives that they committed to completing, whether or not they want to commit to another year of development, planning, crying and stress, like all the things. So an updated roadmap will be coming in the future. It's just going to be post season 2 launch.
There is a sequel to the question about the staking pool, which it might be the way you explain, which is regarding the staking pool, where will the tokens for the second pool come from? I think it was the way you explained caused some confusion there.
Yeah, I mean, so there is an allocation of MK tokens that is earmarked for staking pool post, the depletion of the current one. They are
We're not keeping the tokens for ourselves. We're horrible people. We're giving everything away. What's the matter?
No, I mean the tokenomics for the MK project haven't changed. There was never at any point a team allocation built in to this project because it wasn't necessary. Because that's the reason why we went through the pre-sale process, is so that we didn't have to negotiate MK tokens to kind of keep things moving forward. So there's no team allocation. All the tokens that either reside in a contract, with the exception of the ones that were intended to be burned that are now locked in contract purgatory, with the exception of those, all the other tokens that are held and controlled by the team are purpose-driven, as indicated on the tokenomics for the project.
Okay, someone just pointed out something to me, and I'll check this with either the team or Matt will check it, or someone will check this, don't worry, which is apparently in German, the website is not being translated when you choose a German language. We'll have a look, because the different language versions do exist, so there might be something broken in the way that the language selector is working at the moment. It gives error 404. So yeah, something is linking to the wrong place, like a letter off or something like that. I'll have them have a look at that. There is a question about the NFT integration, which is any plans on how the NFTs will be integrated? Will they be used to help the odds, aka pay to win, or will they just be visual of the game? For example, adding armor, added with the interface, so the NFTs are just a visual representation. Matt will probably add more on this, but I can answer you part of this. The plan that exists, as far as I'm aware, is not to make it a pay to win, precisely because we want to avoid as much as possible. But the NFTs won't just be a visual thing. They will give some bonuses. Matt has already mentioned one of them. I can't mention half of this stuff because I never know what he allows me to say, and then he smacks me on the head every time I say some stuff that I couldn't. One of them will be precisely the V2 for the staking comes. Having the NFTs will give you a little extra bonus there. But yeah, we don't want to create you have NFTs, you're going to win every time because you paid for them. Yeah. Anything you want to add to this, Matt?
No, I think that's pretty fair, man.
Yeah. Okay. Can we get a sneak peek of the new interface soon? Says someone already for the fourth time. I've seen your question. Sorry, I was leaving this one for the end. Matt, are we gonna poke the devs again?
I feel like
how many times I poked them already about this.
I know, and the non-development team side has much to the developers' angst, has been asking repeatedly, and so I think there is a world that exists where there could be some sort of a visual leak available prior to it dropping, but I'm hesitant to keep going back to the bear and poking it for fear that it would just cause undue delay. Tensions at times, as you can tell, anytime, not just specific to MK, but just project work in general, anytime that you are behind schedule, tensions and stress kind of hit peaks, especially at certain times of the day. And people are, after all, they're people, everyone's human. So they kind of have their moments where they get a little extra. So we're wanting to avoid stressing people out and pushing them past their limits, while at the same time understanding that we have a wide trove of people that are looking for updates or any sort of signs that there's life out there. And so it's a very delicate balancing act that myself, Hermes, and everybody else does when when we're in this kind of a phase. So, long story short, we will get you something just as soon as we can. And then also that also extends to the launch of season 2. Just as quickly as we can get it out, it'll be out, and then hopefully you'll all love it. But now we're coming up on the hour, so we're gonna have to wrap this up, Hermes.
Yep, I was about to say that. If you do notice that the script already put the wheel there, so just hypnotize everyone. Okay, folks, I think that was it. I don't think we missed anything. I didn't notice none of you answered my question about the blah blah blah. It's your fault. You guys keep asking questions. We did ask you about the team in the white paper. None of you answered that, so I'm going to force feed you a poll now, both in Telegram and on Discord, and I hope answers that. Anything you guys want to add, Matt and Zeus, before we go for the wheel of names and see who are the 7 lucky winners of the NFTs?
No, I mean, I just keep up the good work, Hermes, and I appreciate the community hanging in there and staying supportive. I know that tensions run high and expectations exist, and I have my own as well, and so we'll get it delivered just as quickly as we can, and then I'm looking forward to enjoying it alongside all of you once it's available. So I'll leave it with that, and I'm going to jump out because I have to jump on another call, Hermes. But thanks for running the show, and good luck to anybody on that list. I hope we see some happy winners. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. In that case, let's go for the fun part, which is make this wheel run for 7 times. Hopefully I won't have to make it run many more times after this. So, first winner of an NFT before I press the button, as usual, I double check, no duplicate wallets. I know some of you put the same wallet twice with different usernames. I keep an eye on this. As usual, winners will be drawn. I'll check afterwards if they follow the rule, which is either have MK on that wallet or MK on the dashboard. If they have, fine, you can claim your prize, no problems. If not, we'll redraw the winner. Now you can't win twice. No, you can only win once. You can't put the same name twice. Okay, first winner out of the 7. So let me make this bigger. Okay, so we have Vielki, I'm guessing. Vielki Ben from Telegram. Congratulations. That's 1. Winner number 2. I swear. Congratulations, Time Bandit. There you go. I'm not going to jump out of the cake, okay? You won. I can see you there in the audience, so you know. You don't need me jumping out of the cake. Okay. Second one of today. Third one of today. Yuri059574 from Discord. Congratulations. Fourth one. I'll ping all the winners after this is finished. So if you're not here at the moment. And Yen858_03645. I love these names. You guys have the best names ever. Xerxes777 from Telegram. Only 2 left. Andy from Telegram. Oh, at least we finally have a normal name. Not one with numbers. And last but not least, Alfrey0608 from Telegram. Okay, congratulations to all the winners. I shall make a post both on Telegram and on Discord announcing the 7 winners. The 7 winners can reach out to me in Discord either via the ticket system or in Telegram via DM. You DM me, I'm not going to DM you. So if anyone DMs you saying it's Hermes, it's not me. Okay, usual rules. Beware, there's lots of scammers around. Have a nice week and see you in the next AMA.